A lot of people have been asking me this lately is how often should I train? This is a really popular, controversial topic. I mean, that's not as controversial as how much protein you should eat, or fat or carbs. No, I shouldn't say controversial. Let's say this is popular because if you train too much, then you're overtraining and you're burning off muscle and you're wasting time spinning your wheels, raising up your cortisol, blah blah blah. If you're undertraining, then you're just not stimulating yourself as for much muscle growth as you could gain. Now let's jump into some basic concepts of really quickly training time periods like your 90 days, your typical 90-day program that you're going to read. Like basically insert the name of the program, like P90X or whatever you want to say. Anything with 90 days in it, or 100 days, or 80 days, or whatever, is kind of a scam. Getting people back into. Yeah, it gets people back into working out, but it doesn't mean that program is the correct way to train. What it means is it's a program, and it has some training techniques. It has some training exercises that you can do in it, and a lot of sets and rep ranges and weights to be lifted and all kinds of cool, fun exercises. But are they setting you up correctly for the long term? Because every single human is built similar, not dissimilar, right? Yeah, you got your endomorphs, mesomorphs, and ectomorphs, and I write about that frequently in my book, The Discipline Diet, coming out in a month. Okay, but my point is that we are built very similar in a sense that this is how muscle is grown. And then you get on a weightlifting, if you want to use weights and use resistance to build muscle, then weightlifting, body weight exercises, free weights, whatever, bands, whatever you want. Now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is typical for beginners, and here's the reason why you do a full body routine on these days. Is because your body is not trained yet for those exercises. It's not trained yet for to handle the muscles aren't ready to handle the specific volume that you need to produce the maximum amount of growth. So you're training on a lower volume, low sets, low reps, or maybe moderate reps, lower weights, low to moderate weight, because you're trying to get your motor neurons and produce motor neurons to adapt to what you're doing to the exercises, learn the exercises, and you're trying to get the maximum amount of hypertrophy, whereas you don't want to overtrain or undertrain. And you're only doing each of these workouts for 60 minutes. So if you think about it, if you're doing abs and you're doing some abs, you're doing upper body, all these upper body exercises, all these lower body exercises, you're not spending very much time on any one given body part, right? In that, let's say each workout is an hour or each workout is 70 minutes. You're not spending very much time on each body part. You're only spending about, let's say, 12 minutes on each body part typically. Or if that, let's say 10 minutes. Now, an upper-lower split, you're gonna now that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So and each workout here is about 60 to 70 minutes long. Typically, it's your average workout. Now for that. You think about it. Now you're going to spend 60 to 70 minutes at a time training the entire upper body, with all these different exercises, but just for that upper half of your body. Now that's you spending more volume, more time, more sets and repetitions with now you've moved on, your body's moved on from low weights to moderate weights, right? Moderate weights, maybe even toward the end of the program, the end of the 60 or 90 days, 60 days, you're going to get into starting fooling around with the heavier weights. And that's good too. And you're going to get out of that upper-lower split, or that, because really what you want to do, for what they've discovered over decades and decades of research is, you want to train a part not by itself, but to train a part wholly and completely with the maximum amount of volume you can possibly cram into it. So basically it only leaves room for you to train a couple parts per day. Not one part, but a couple parts. And that brings me straight into the 90-day part split routine, which is, for me, I prefer Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday and Saturday off and do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because there's the gym's not very crowded. It's almost deserted in Sunday afternoons. And so People just don't want to be in it. They want to get out and do stuff outside, or they don't just, maybe a few weekend warriors. The weekend warriors like to come in the mornings on Saturday and Sunday. It's funny to watch them, but that's why I don't go. I avoid the mornings like a plague on the weekend. Anyway, most muscular growth will occur during these types of programs. This is what a lot of those 90-day programs out there don't tell you, is that you really, if you want to look like the guys in the magazines, or you want to look like I'm not talking about Flex or anything like that, or Muscle and Fitness. I'm not talking about gear, sauce, and juice here. I'm talking about natural athletes. You've got to get onto a parts split routine, and that involves taking a body part and just pushing the hell out of it in a short chunk of time. But you could, if you think about it, if I'm doing back and biceps on Sunday, I can, and my program is 70 minutes long, I can devote 35 minutes to 40 minutes, 35 minutes to my back, 35 minutes to my biceps. Oh my gosh, that's a huge overload. And what it does is, because of all the volume you're putting on it with sets and reps and heavier weights, and your motor neurons are totally adapted by now, and you can take your same exercises that you've been doing, and you can put a lot more stress on those muscles with those same exercises using heavier weights and more volume. So which is going to, both volume and heavier crap is going to produce more muscle, which brings me into how often should we train these parts once we can even get our bodies to a parts routine? Now, if you're pushing let me check my time here, because I totally screwed up the last video I did. Oh no, I'm doing great on time. I wonder if I forgot something. I don't know if body part. I don't know why I wrote that there. It depends on the body part. There's two big variables here about how often you should train. Well, it depends on the body part. And it depends on whether you're pushing every set to failure. If you're pushing every set to failure, your motor neurons are taxed more. So it takes longer time for your motor neurons to develop. So not to develop, for them to recover. So you really want the 72-hour break in between training the same muscle group. It's not that I'm talking about isolation exercises. That's not the key case at all. You can use all the compound and all the isolation that you want to train a muscle group. The more compound exercises you use and the shorter rest periods, the more cardio you're going to get, and the more you don't need to get onto a treadmill or a piece of cardio equipment, because you're getting cardio in your weight routine. Whereas if you were training all isolation, if you're just doing all leg extension, leg curl, bicep curl, and tricep extension, stuff like this, and then very low reps on ab curls on like a weighted ab curl machine, or a weighted cable crunches, you're not getting a lot of cardio there. So yeah, you would need to get onto a treadmill on your off days or something. But I don't do that. I don't like cardio machines, and I very rarely use them unless I'm really trying to lean down. Then I'm desperate. But so let's look at arms. Now I broke this down into two different hormones that produce muscle, that help them to stimulate muscle growth, which is human growth hormone and testosterone. Now, the classic bodybuilder is, these guys were taking testosterone supplements from the 50s, late 40s, and 50s, all the way till now. If you go look at them, you can tell the guys are just huge with popped out veins and huge size, 235 to 270 pounds of muscle, and you just don't get that way. In reality, it is extremely difficult, unless you're at the top tier 1% gifted genetic mesomorph that just happens to have that body type. And if you look at the so-called gifted mesomorphs like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he openly admitted he was taking the sauce for years. So, and to get that big. So it's just, come on. Let's be reasonable here. Let's just say testosterone and human growth hormone, and you got the arms. And if you want to look at the difference between the gear sauce juice and a normal testosterone level, I've put it up here, yellow versus pink. And the thing is, let me explain this before I run in. I don't want to run out of time. Let me just first talk about what, fake testosterone. Testosterone supplements, it's not fake, it's synthetic. But if you take the juice and you're a juicer and you're not natural and you juice on a Monday here, and then it peaks way up in this huge curve of testosterone all week, and then it comes back down, let's say on Saturday or Sunday, and you need your new injection on that Monday. You need to inject about once a week, or even once every other week if you're taking a high enough dose of test. Now, the thing is, normal people are down here with their human growth hormone and testosterone in the pink and the blue, fighting their damnedest to try to build muscle, whereas these jerks up here that inject testosterone don't have a problem with it at all. They could do any exercise throughout these days and they would produce muscle because their testosterone is off the charts. It's all the way up here where it's not supposed to be, because they can sit there and, your normal nanoliters or whatever the heck it is supposed to be like 200 to 220. Anything above that is, okay, he's juicing. And they're sitting, you can sit up here comfortably juicing at the 260 range or whatever the heck it is, or 270, or God only knows how much they take, and produce look at all the bodybuilders that have all these heart problems and liver failure later. And so there was some vegan telling me that was because of protein supplements or protein. Like, are you kidding me? It's because they're on the sauce. Natural bodybuilders don't have the same problem. So, but that's why they do these splits of, well, I'm going to do my biceps every Monday, and I'm going to do my triceps on Tuesday, or with triceps, and I'm going to do legs on Wednesdays, and then I'm going to do back on Fridays or whatever. They can get away with doing one body part a week because they're on the sauce. They could do anything one day a week, and they would build muscle because testosterone builds muscle. Now, for normal people, I'm going to get up here and check my time. Yes. Yes. For normal people, what you see, let's look at human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is kind of like a tech stock on the stock market. It's got these big blips and then flat lines, and so you get spikes of human growth hormone while you're working out. It gets stimulated, and right after, and then nothing, and then you'll get a big spike at night. So you start, let's say you did your biceps and your triceps on Monday. You did arms, right? And you get a blip from working out, doing the workouts in the blue here. I've drawn the human growth hormone. And then you have another blip as you sleep at night. It's going to go up. And then nothing. And then another little blip Wednesday night when you go to sleep. And all that's human growth hormone that's actually going to help your arms grow a little bit. Now, for the most part, it's the testosterone that's going to be helping your arms grow, which is, my other points in my other videos, why women have such a hard time building muscle is because they have less testosterone, so they have to rely on their human growth hormone. Anyway, I'm not saying they don't have test, and you can stimulate a little bit of test by building muscle, but you got to get that muscle first. Anyway, so the testosterone's in this is more of a bell curve. It goes down when you lift, during your lifting, and then as soon as you're done lifting and you eat, it starts to go up, and it goes way up at night, and then it continues to stay up for several days. But as you can see, these hormone levels on your arms will go back to normal on right around, if you started them on the arm workout Monday, it goes back to normal around Thursday. So now you don't have this extra juice in your veins, so what could you be doing on Thursday that the juicers don't need to do? It's lifting the arms again. You gotta lift them. You gotta lift each. You gotta do each body part twice a week because you want that bell curve and those blips of human growth hormone, the bell curve of testosterone. You want that to go back up. The same thing for legs. Legs are more of a compound, bigger muscle, so they take longer. So as you can see, let's you start legs on a Wednesday. You get the same kind of effect with your testosterone and human growth hormone, and then you could safely wait and then hit them again on Saturday or Sunday, and then you wouldn't hit them again until Wednesday. And that's so you got to give enough space for a compound muscle like that for it to heal, and you still get the benefits of the hormones spread across. If you lift legs on Wednesdays, and you keep your metabolism up by working out multiple days of the week. That's it.